Guys, I love the X-Men. The X-Men are such great characters. I mean, let's be honest, had Disney had the rights to the X-Men, we would have been getting X-Men movies way before Avengers movies. They are Marvel's it team, and people love them. Their powers are cool, their character dynamics are fun. It's just great stuff, and I'm so excited that Marvel finally has the rights to them and are going to adapt them. And because of that, I wanted to do something fun today, which is fancast. I love fancasting things. I think it's so fun to be like, oh, I like this actor. I think they would do this character justice. And hey, if you were wondering, no, I cannot see. But beauty is pain. Okay, so let's stop standing around and let's jump right into it. I do want to start by saying that all the castings in this video are based off of my understandings of the characters and what I know about them, or if I chose someone that doesn't accurately represent who they are in the comics because I don't know everything about everything. Right. I'm sorry, and that's fine. We'll be okay. Hey, I'll hold your hand. We're gonna get through this together. I'm basically gonna go through kind of all who I consider to be all the staple X-Men characters. On my document, I have dozens and dozens of them fan casted. I'm just giving you the mains today because I don't want this to take too long. There are some that I'm really split between, quite honestly. Only a few of these castings do I think are 100% slam dunk. There's no one else I can even imagine in the role. And one more thing I need to stress. I made this document that I'm using for this months and months ago. And since then, two of the main X-Men characters that are on this list have been rumored casting with who I chose for them. And hey, I'm not saying I'm going to drop the mic, but I just want to say don't be calling me unoriginal because I'm the blueprint. Kevin Feige hacked my Google Docs. So these are coming off to talk about Cyclops, right? Cyclops is a great character who has not ever been done justice in a movie yet, and I am so excited for him in the MCU because I think they're going to get him right. They know how important he is. They know that people love this character so much, and I just really think they're going to do right by him. I would cast Brian Ultimus as Cyclops. I haven't seen him in too much, but as I was going through the casting for this, I've always had him in mind since I heard of him for this role, and I watched some clips from things that he's in. I've seen the newer Mean Girls, which he's in. He's a really good actor, which is criminal that he hasn't gotten more work. He's a good age for Cyclops, and he has a perfect look for him. I think that this casting is 10 out of 10, and even though he's not super famous, I think that's okay. Cyclops is a titular role, and I think more and more these days we're seeing studios lean towards casting some of their more pivotal central characters as a slightly more unknown actor because they can keep them for longer. They're not fighting with other studios to cast them and things. And that's something I think they should do here because we want to see Cyclops a lot. Jean Grey, Jean Grey. That's my girl. I love Jean Grey. She's one of the coolest female characters of all time. She has a great story. I think she brings something to the team that is unique, and she, like Cyclops, is necessary to get right. The person that I want to cast as her is one of the ones that is rumored to be the actual casting from Marvel Studios, and that's Miss Daisy Edgar Jones. You've probably seen her in Twisters. She was in that show Normal People that people love. She's a really good actress. I think she can pull off the red hair, and she would kill this role. I think that this is a casting that is a slam dunk for Marvel, and I'm so glad that they're considering it because she will be great in this. Mr. Professor Charles Xavier. This is one of the most fan casted characters of all time, probably. And you know what? They just be slapping bald guys on that list, if I'm being honest. I personally am going for acting chops. And I think we've gotten a lot of Professor X content in the X-Men media we have out in the world right now. So I think it's okay if we do cast a more high profile actor in this role and maybe don't see him as often as we have in other things. And who am I casting for it? Ray Fiennes. Come on. He's a great actor. I actually think he could play Professor X or Magneto. But if I had to choose one, I want to see him in a role like this that has a lot of complexity to it, but is also just such a fan favorite character. I think no one would be upset about this casting. Whoa, big one here. Wolverine. Hugh Jackman so famously plays this character, and I know a lot of people want to just see him keep playing it. I don't think we can do that. I think we have to do a full recast. Because then it feels like, okay, if we're not recasting some of them, we should just not recast any of them. And reality is, we all want recast. Even if you don't want Hugh Jackman recast, we all want to recast. And so it's either all or none. We're recasting. Who would I cast for him? This is another one that is not one that's been rumored, but it is one that has risen to fame since I made this list. And it's going to be Jack O'Connell. He was notoriously in Ryan Coogler's new movie, and I think that he would be so good in this role. I think he might be a little bit taller than a lot of people would like to see Logan be because he's notoriously a short king in the comics, but I personally don't care too much as long as he's not gigantic. I think Jack O'Connell has the acting chops for this, and Wolverine's someone that, though we've gotten a lot of him in other X-Men media, he's still going to have to be semi front and center here. And so I think it will be good to have an actor who people are really liking right now. Now, for Storm, I am going to go with the most popular fan cast by far, which is Jodie Turner-Smith. I mean, it's just iconic. She would be so perfect in this role. I think that she would really add something to it that Halle Berry was maybe lacking a little bit, though she was very great in the role. And I just think that it would be really good. I mean, I don't even have that much to say about her because it's just, it needs to happen. Kevin Feige needs to be on the phone with her agent immediately. I've seen some people say Jamie Lawson is, I think, her name. She would be good too. She would be my second choice for sure. The next and last person I would put in this first bracket of X-Men, which is the ones that are kind of full adults, they've come into who they are. They're not like young adults, they're not students at the school, would be Beast, who I would cast Josh Rivera as. I feel like I've seen people say this one online too, and I couldn't agree more. I think he is exactly what I picture when I picture Beast, and he also has a different energy than the ones that have come before, which I think is something that overall will really help this X-Men adaptation, is if they don't lean too heavily into what's been done before them. They don't need to do that. They need to make it accurate to the comics. They need to make it visually interesting. They need to make it great, colorful suits and powers. That's what we want to see. Josh Rivera can deliver that in Beast. Now I want to go on to the younger cast of the X-Men, who these are characters who are either a little bit younger than the ones that we've already been talking about, or they're even students at the school maybe. The first one I want to talk about is Iceman, who I would like to be played by Michael Provost. I have seen him in things. I can't think what they are at the moment, but I've seen him in things and he's good. And he just has a good look for this character, and quite frankly, I'm surprised he doesn't get more work. So I would like to see him in this role very much. Next is Angel, who I want to see played by Leo Woodall. Oh my goodness. I think this is borderline perfect casting. It's just so good. And I really think we haven't scratched the surface with this character in X-Men media. So it would be really nice to see someone who has good range like Leo Woodall to take on this role and really do it justice. The next character is another character who we have barely scratched the surface of in live action X-Men movies, and that's Rogue. Anna Paquin did a good job, but the way they portrayed her character and wrote her character was not accurate enough to the comics, especially in look even. And we want someone with a lot of range because I think that this is one of the characters that they should push more into the front and center in these movies as they introduce her. Now, this is the second one that I already had this person on my list before they were even rumored from Marvel Studios to do this, and it's Margaret Qualley. Rogue is a character that can be hard to utilize, so she maybe doesn't need to be in every story, but we do want a lot of her, and we want her to be good when she's there, so it makes sense for someone like Margaret Qualley, who is such a rising star, to play her. and she'd be great at it. She can do the accent. She has curly hair. She can do the fun look, or she has had curly hair. I don't know if it's natural. Mr. Gambit, I would cast Kyle Allen. He is a great actor. I really think that he would do this role well. He can definitely do the accent, and he has a really good look for Gambit. I've seen a lot of people fan cast Austin Butler for this, but I don't think that an actor that famous would quite be right for it. I think it's fine to cast someone that's a little bit more famous for Rogue because of how iconic that character is. And Gambit's very iconic, but he has not been as famous as Rogue has for as long as she has. One of the reasons Gambit's so popular recently is because of how good he was in X-Men 97 and because of him in Deadpool and Wolverine where Channing Tatum played him, but that was a joke. We don't want someone who's going to come across as a joke, and I think casting Austin Butler in this role is opening up the character to a world of like Elvis impersonation jokes and unseriousness. Though Austin Butler could definitely do it. Kitty Pryde. I love this character, and I love the actress I have as her more, Kaylee Spaney. Kaylee Spaney is a great actress. I want her in every movie I've ever seen. She's in the newer Alien movie. She was in Alex Garland's Civil War movie. She played Priscilla in the other Elvis movie, not the one with Austin Butler. And she's going to be in the next Knives Out movie. She is rising up fast, and I think Marvel should get her on this if they can. I think she would do the character justice exactly in the way I imagine her. When I imagine Kitty Pryde, I basically see Kaylee Spaney, and so that's who I would want in the role. For Nightcrawler, I would really like to see Levon Hawk play this role. He has a really good look for it, and it's also interesting to me that from the Hawk family, he's Maya Hawk's brother, Uma Thurman, Ethan Hawke's son. I think it's his time to shine. They've all got a lot of spotlight. They'll all be fine. I want to see him come up. I saw him in that movie Blink Twice that came out recently, and while I was watching it, I thought, oh, he'd be a really good Nightcrawler. He is the look right. I'm assuming he can act because he was good in that movie, and he comes from a very talented family of actors. He's my choice. Paint him blue. The last one I want to talk about from this younger cast of characters is Jubilee. I think we can definitely assume that we're going to get Jubilee since she's never really been done much in live action, yet she's so popular. And who I would cast for her is Devin Nakota. You may have seen her in Scream 6, where she had a show stealing scene, and I think ever since then I've been sold on this casting. She also has a unique look. I think we've seen Jubilee a lot in X-Men stories, though not in live action, and I think it would help the character to cast someone like Devin Nakota, who is a little bit of a different look, but is still great for the character. Okay, we're just going to talk about a few more. Obviously, I can't make an X-Men casting video without talking about Magneto, one of the best comic book villains of all time, one of the best villains of all time, period. I want to cast Jason Isaacs as Magneto. He's in so much stuff. He's great. He's a great actor. He could for sure do the story and Magneto's backstory justice. I think he would be a really good parallel to Ray Fiennes. They're around the same age. Jason Isaacs, you have my stamp of approval. Now let's talk about Emma Frost. Emma Frost has only gotten more popular with time, and quite frankly, we want to see this character. This character is a fan favorite. She is so cool. Her powers are so cool. Her story's interesting. The way she's kind of in the middle of a hero and a villain. It's so compelling. Who I would cast as Emma Frost is Brittany Snow. And you might say, is that the girl from Pitch Perfect? Well, yes, it is. But if you think she can't act, I would challenge you to go watch her other stuff. You might not get the vibes from the things you've seen her in, like Pitch Perfect, that she could pull off the kind of regal vibe that Emma Frost has mixed with the other elements of her character. But I've seen her in a lot of stuff, and I really think she can do this. I think it would be a fun acting challenge for her, too. I think it's kind of time to stop casting people in roles that are exactly already fitting the mold of it. I think she would more than rise to this occasion, and I think it's long overdue that she gets a really good, meaty role like this. We got Sabretooth, and I would cast Alexander Ludwig as him. He has the perfect look for this character, exactly how I imagine him, and imagine him versus Jack O'Connell as Wolverine. That's a great pair. I think it works out so well. This is a character that I haven't always loved, and I think someone like Alexander Ludwig in the role would make me like him significantly more. So, cast him. And the last character I want to talk about is Mystique. Now, I've thought long and hard about this. I wanted to go for someone that's not as famous, someone that has been in some stuff, you know, she's a good actress, but she's not super name recognizable because Mystique is a shapeshifter, so the actress that we cast as her cannot constantly be on screen. So we don't want to cast someone too big name in a role like that. Also, Mystique needs to have a like kind of woman out of time vibe, in my opinion. And I wanted to cast someone that I think could do her like maliciousness and her mysteriousness justice while also not looking the same age as Magneto. So I'm going with Jessica Alexander for Mystique. You probably have seen her in the live action Little Mermaid where she played the evil human version of Elsa. Elsa, let it go of Ursula, where she was so good. People literally came out of that movie talking about this. I remember it so vividly. Everyone was like, "Who is this girl?" Like this girl is eating, and she did. Jessica Alexander, you are my Mystique. I believe you can do the character justice. I would really like to see her take this on. Okay, guys, I hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, please drop a like. Every like helps, every subscription helps, every comment helps. So do a couple of those things. I would greatly appreciate it. Let me know who you would cast as the X-Men down below. And also let me know if you want a part 2 where I do some more of the more niche characters or characters that I do think we'll get to see fairly quickly as they're introduced into the MCU, but maybe ones that aren't on the main team. Once again, these are just my opinions. Your opinions are probably also great. And you know what? I hope you guys have a great week. Okay? Peace out.